Warning! The Dub Talk podcast may contain language and content that may not be rated by the ESRB. Player discretion is advised. There's also the possibility that mid to late game spoilers will occur for the series we are discussing tonight. Be careful in case you have not gotten further into it and don't want to risk massive late game spoilers and plot twists. And remember, the opinions expressed are of the individual players and do not reflect the Dub Talk Guild as a whole. And finally, always make sure you are responsible with any loot box purchases. No matter how great that rare limited item may be, or that SSR UR version of your adorable 2D waifu may be oh so tempting, make sure that you never go too deep into the sea and go full-blown whale. Seriously, I've seen people drop over $300 for their gals. Never go full whale. Unless you're Lily. But, for those of you who don't want to drop your rent money, I propose a far more affordable option of entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, Recovery of an MMO Junkie. Let's log in.
すり減らされた残る痛みに心歪んで張り詰めていた
I have a question for the viewers out there. How do you spend your Saturday nights? Maybe you like to play video games, maybe online RPGs? Do you like to play them so much to the point that you start spending money on in-game purchases, engaging in microtransactions constantly? Probably to the point that you've blown a weekly paycheck or two on loot boxes and limited edition items, in turn possibly neglecting your social life, causing it to wither away. So what happens next at that point? Join us this evening for a Dub Talk intervention where we chronicle the recovery of an MMO junkie. I'm Jamal, and tonight I'll be your moderator for this session. Joining me are my fellow gamers Zenith.
Hey yo, what's going on everybody? I'm ready to play a game.
Sneebs.
Logged on, ready to tank and spank.
And Andrew, aka Classy Spartan.
Hey y'all, I've been gacha free for 2 to 3 months, and I am happier for it.
Yes. For those who have no idea what we're talking about, welcome to Dub Talk, where tonight we will be discussing the surprise anime hit of the season, Recovery of an MMO Junkie, brought to you by Studio Signal MD.
Also known as the cutest show this season. This show is so damn heartwarming and cute. I watched like all 5 episodes in pretty much one sitting, and I was squealing with happiness the entire time. Like, on the inside, I was a little girl again, and I'm just like, oh my, like just squeeing the entire time. It's so cute.
I'd say definitely of the fall season, this has been the single most pleasant surprise of them all. Like, I figured, okay, this might be entertaining, this might be worth a few chuckles, but no, it is genuinely one of the best shows, and something I highly recommend that everybody here go watch. It is a show that could only have existed this period of time, and it really hits me and a lot of us close to home.
Oh yeah. So much.
It gets my official stamp of approval, my Zen stamp, go right, slap it on there.
Yeah, I find it really captures that feeling of basically what we have here with Dub Talk. People who we've just met online and formed friendships with, and the wonderful sweetness of being able to know people through the internet and how that can impact our real lives. Mm-hmm. It's the nicest sort of take I've seen on this stuff in quite some time.
Yes, and if you're new to the show, here's a quick synopsis for you. Moriko Morioka is a 30-year-old single NEET woman. After dropping out from reality, she is taken off in search of for a fulfilling life and ended up in a net game, or netoge. Netoge.
We will not speak of that show on the better show about MMOs, thank you kindly.
I'm not dropping a line, because this isn't like an isekai sort of thing where, I'm trapped in the other world.
No, this is a personification of MMO, so isekais are hereby not allowed, so we won't speak of that other show either.
Nope.
In the Netsuge world, she began her new life as a refreshing and handsome character named Hayashi. While starting out as a beginner, a pretty character named Lily reached out to help her. Meanwhile, in the real world awaits a shocking encounter with a good-looking elite company employee, a mysterious blue-eyed blonde. Now, we will cover Funimation's press release from A to Z, giving our predictions for the show, discussing who was actually cast, and displaying our thoughts on the performance.
Yes, but where do we start, good sir? Good game master, Jamal.
To kick things off, let's go over our thoughts on who we thought our guild master and spellcaster to be, and by that I mean the ADR director and scriptwriter.
Ah, well put, well put.
Who would like to go first? Because I want to go last.
All right, fair. Let me just scroll up my prediction list. I didn't predict anybody for writer. I just assumed somebody who was good and competent. But for ADR, I had two in particular when I was thinking. I was thinking this is like, it's a show centers around games, but also with a focus on a more female-centric, like otaku older woman character. And I thought it would have been particularly interesting to see people, directors who are well-versed in comedies, but also those who are female themselves. So for that, in regards to ADR director, I predicted Afia Yu and Kristen McGuire.
That's interesting because I also had Kristen McGuire. Was those your director predictions?
Those were the only two I had for this particular project.
Okay. Anybody else want to go next?
I didn't really have any predictions, since, with ADR and director, it's so hard. You never know where they're going to be. If I were to make a prediction based on previous work, I would say Kristen McGuire, but, I don't know enough about ADR myself to really make predictions.
That's understandable. How about you, Sneebs?
I thought we'd be getting Jeremy Kratz for the ADR script and Clifford Chapin for some of the direction stuff. Kratz, I think he did some work on, was My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
He did some sort of natural sounding stuff that was really kind of got very subtle emotional stuff. And I thought that would work perfectly with this. And Clifford Chapin, roll of the dice. I rolled the random loot box, and a Chapin token came out.
Loot boxes. Can I just say before we even talk about it, I hate how they draw attention to loot boxes and microtransactions in this show. That's maybe my one problem with it, because
how is that a flaw? Because that's just a thing that's in games now. If anything,
but it should not be. It should not be promoted, because loot boxes is a system that I hate. A lot of people are talking about. They don't put it in a negative light, and yeah, it's something that exists. I don't like them drawing attention to it, and maybe that's because as a gamer, there's only been one loot box system I liked, and it was cosmetic, and that's Overwatch, and you don't pay for them. So I think that's fine, but
I think that sequence more or less is mostly for comedic reactions, and in general, I find it amusing because the kinds of reactions they showed there was genuine for loot boxes, but that's not really the soapbox we should be on right now.
Yes. To continue, like some of you, I also had Kristen McGuire. I also had Cliff Chapin because I wanted someone who was not only knows how to handle direction very well, but also someone who's experienced with dealing with gaming-based anime. But I also had another prediction, that is Dave Trosco, because I wanted to see him direct something sincere again since All Out, and because when we were planning this, people just typecasted the man. I was like, leave the man alone. He can direct good work. I know he can.
He does good work, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know people just typecast him since the last couple of seasons. I've been guilty of doing the same thing with the director of this show as well. And who's directed this show is, of course, Cliff Chapin.
Good job
Yes,
rolling
that-
20s on that.
Yes, his Lord and Savior, Clifford fucking Chapin.
Yeah, we may have mentioned that guy once or twice before. I'm not sure
Yes.
if he sounds familiar to anybody else.
Oh, wait, before we move on, did anybody else have scriptwriter predictions?
No.
Okay, because I had Matt Shipman and Dispute. One for a new game reunion, the others because I love his script writing. But who's actually writing the script is Jessica Kavanaugh. Which is kind of a surprise to me a little bit.
What have they done before?
Well, in Cliff's case, he's directed other game-based anime such as Akiba's Trip, Define Gate, Keijo, both seasons of New Game, and Planetarian.
That was where I got it from.
Oh, yeah, he
Yes.
did do Planetarian.
He's also co-directing Konohana Kitan, which we're unfortunately not covering this season.
It's the luck of the draw, but it's adorable, and I love it so.
Yes. Now, Jessica Kavanaugh, on the other hand, is pretty much brand new to script writing, but other scripts she's written for is All Deadmen on the Sky, Fuka, Gosick, Rampo Kitan Game of Laplace, Episode 11 of Regalia The Three Sacred Stars, and Sakura Quest.
Alright.
So, what are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
They good people. They know what they're doing, and the performances that several of these characters give off are absolutely hysterical. Like, there's a couple of these where it's like some of them I knew they were good, but they especially have a lot of material to work with in this show in particular. Especially our leading lady and actors.
Yes.
Not to mention a couple of newer names, not necessarily that I haven't heard them before, but I've never gotten to hear them go quite to some of the levels that they did in this show. And there was definitely a lot of range on display, a lot of comedic timing. It was hilarious, but also genuine when it needed to be. Script was funny. Script is good. Very close, but definitely a lot of funny alterations here and there, but worked for translation. I enjoyed both ADR direction and script writing for MMO Junkie.
Any other thoughts?
I agree in total. I found that they got a really good sense of how they, again, comedic timing was mentioned, really good casting, people I wasn't necessarily expecting to find in the roles that were just nailed them. But looking over the hidden to-be-revealed list of guesses, it's really exciting to see some of these people taking on these roles. I'm impressed. Yeah, good job, guys.
I was very impressed by this show. I went into this and I chose this show specifically along with King's Game, which is going to be recorded later. But I chose these two shows mostly because I'm a gamer and I just saw MMO Junkie and I'm like, you know what? I want to try out this show. I wasn't expecting anything of them because I basically avoided any information from any of these shows so I could go in blind, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised. Not just with the show, but with the voice acting and directing. And I think this is extremely well cast, extremely well directed. I'm not going to really have anything negative to say about the voice acting because, for the most part, I think everything was perfect. I mean, there are going to be some things here and there, but this is probably the most positive I've been about a show. I think, in general, they did a fantastic job, and you're not going to really hear a bad word out of me today.
Yeah, I find the script is very solid. It's very faithful to the Japanese. As well as some of the casting too, believe it or not, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I can't really find any faults, even when I tried to look for it intentionally, but overall, I think they did a very solid job. And
It was impressive, and I'm glad to see Chapin is a guy, like, I never know quite where I'm going to see him, but every time, I always get the impression this guy very much puts his all into these shows, even when he's working on, like, simulcast timing, which is always definitely very constrained. And this is another example of that. I'm very impressed, and I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, he's pretty much on his A game. So
Who?
Cliff, he's pretty much on his A game.
Oh, I thought you said Isaiah game. I'm like, who's that? I don't know. I'm tired. Okay. Yeah. No.
Okay.
We're playing Isaiah game right now, when the next raid boss is up ahead.
You know what they say, no game, no life.
No. If anything,
No.
If anything, you could say this is his new game plus. I swear to God, Season 2 should have been called New Game Plus. That was such a missed opportunity. Let's continue.
And yet they put the pluses in the exclamation marks, but that's another story. Yeah, so let's move on to two avatars. You're introduced to them in the first couple episodes. We have Hearth and we have Yuki, both avatars from Nanta SG, an old MMO game that our two leads used to play, though they never realized it until later on in the series.
Well, if anything, it's a game that Morioka herself played with a friend of hers a while back, but has since been discontinued. But yeah, I actually like the difference between. I like how they actually differentiate the two like MMO style characters. While it seems like they're more full-bodied in Fruits de Mer, but in Nanter they're much more chibi-based, almost like MapleStory. And I thought that was kind of an interesting difference. Like you could have just had them have the same models, but they're different art styles, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
There's a very big distinction in the artwork in this show between not just the MMOs, but the MMOs and the real world, and I love the way it's designed. I really do love the art direction in the show.
It's pretty solid, yeah. I like the aesthetic of this show. Like, it's got some moments even where it takes to some digital motion animation, and like the lighting is really good too. But show looks great. I love it. Anyways, Hearth and Yuki.
Yeah.
What about
so? Do we have any predictions for them?
I'm gonna be honest, I did not have any for either Hearth or Yuki. They didn't really, as far as when I was watching the show and making predictions, they didn't have enough screen time for me to really make any solid predictions or ideas.
I'll be honest. I had no idea who these two were when I saw the press release. I'm like,
Ditto.
like some of the names I saw, and I was like, who are these people?
Yeah, I thought these might have been like final episode reveals, and then I remembered, oh wait.
Well, it
yeah,
technically
there were those.
is a final episode reveal. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Likely.
Yes.
I had some predictions. Again, I rolled those loot boxes. Uncle Sneebs has a gambling problem, guys. For Yuki, I thought they might have nabbed a Jamie Marshy who was walking by. Just, here, get in the booth, Jamie. And likewise, Morgan Garrett, they just roped in for Hearth and figured, you know what? You can try out a little bit of range. It's only a minor role. You can experiment in a boy voice. And there you go.
I'm genuinely curious how many of the side characters in simuldubs nowadays, it must be like they're walking to lunch or something. It's like, hey, get in the booth. We need you. You're this guy that's going to die and get shot. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't have any predictions for these two because they barely appear in the show, so,
So far.
Yeah. Yes, so far, yet so close yet so far.
They've only dubbed up 5.
In
five right
either
now.
case, Sneebs, you're unfortunately wrong. Hearth is voiced by Afia Yu, while Yuki is voiced by Felicia Angel. For other roles, Hearth is Rio from Assassination Classroom, Marina from Chain Chronicle, The Light of Acetus, the Black Ranger from Level E, Yo Watanabe from Love Life Sunshine, Rita from Ranger Bahamut, Yusuke from the WeCross franchise, and Homie from Show by Rock. Other roles for Felicia, she's Yorame Mayanaka from Akiba's Trip, Manmi Okuda from Assassination Classroom, Aoi Asahina from the Danganronpa animes, Sayaka Miyata from Keijo, Toru Hagakure from My Hero Academia, and Shinoa Hiragi from Seraph of the End.
Another one I want to bring up just because I feel this one might be a subtle nod by the director, I'm just assuming, is they're also the two best friends that appear in like the final couple episodes of Alice and Zoroku. Her one bestie who plays soccer and one who develops a Dream of Alice ability and has trouble with her parents, like they're best friends, and I thought that may or may not have been an intentional nod because both of those characters were played by Afia Yu and Felicia Angio.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to come up because I know if Noah was here, he would have brought that up immediately.
Don't worry, I liked Alice too. That was a really good show. Episode 11 made me cry. Nothing like little girls debating whether or not they deserve to exist that really hits you hard. Anyways, in regards to Hearth and Yuki, they're adorable little children characters, even though at least one of them is played by someone in their mid-20s, but granted, the characters are adorable, they sound adorable, I want them to be happy and healthy. I like Afia, I like Felicia, they both sound really good.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they were there, they did what they needed to. They didn't get a chance to flex their range, but they did a good job, and I hope to see what happens with the big reveals down the tubes. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, we'll find out a few weeks from now. Probably by the time this episode airs.
Probably. Anyways.
Yeah, they're pretty adorable. I mean, you can't really go wrong with those two, to be honest.
They look like they are the avatars that is life. They put on a face of joy and like everything is well, even though the real world is a harsh, cruel mistress.
I think they did a good job. They didn't have a lot to work with, but, I've only seen 5 episodes. That cliffhanger, I need to see the new episode, god damn it. But I really am enjoying, I enjoyed the performances for what they were.
Alright, so y'all ready to move on?
Yep.
I like those two. They're adorable. Let's move on.
Yes, we'll see them again. So, moving on, we have the members of the guild that our two main characters play with. We have Pokotaro, the big lovable oaf, Himeralda, insert description here.
Himeralda is this very, effeminate elf character who's very playful, but always willing to lend an ear to all who will hear.
Okay, good thing you said something, because I was afraid I was going to cross the line. And we...
Turquoise hair, right?
Yes, and we have Lilac, the the little spunky girl who...
The little kitty cat girl who is an adorable little troll, and I love her. And yes, let's get this out of the way. Her name is Lilac. That's hilarious.
Wait a second. Is this Lilac? You're in an anime now?
Not that Lilac, but not that Lilac.
Okay, no,
this Lilac takes up.
This season's especially been weird because there's a character named Lilac in Recovery of an MMO Junkie. In episode 2 of Garo Vanishing Line, there is a character who is named Hardy. Which is also funny that this is the same season. So if there's just a character in a show later down the road that's named Queen, please feel free to tell us. We'll have all the OGs represented in fall anime.
And if you wish to have a Zenith in there at some point, there is one anime...
Stop showing yourself out, girl. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You'll be killed off in the first episode.
Anyway, Lilac is Spunky cat girl, bit of a troll, has a big mouth on her, and this Lilac can learn from our Lilac on manners on talking. Mm-hmm. So, do we have any predictions for these three?
I have predictions for these three. For Pokotaro, I figured somebody with a big, huggable, but very, manly voice. So I was thinking either Chris George or Tyson Reinhardt could easily fill the part. Himeralda, I was thinking, because this is the avatar for this character seems to be male or masculine in that regards, but it is a very like soft, effeminate voice as well. So I was thinking in regards to male voice actors who could pull off a much more like softer, effeminate voice for this kind of character. I was thinking either Micah Solusad or Damon Mills could pull the part. As for Lilac, somebody high-pitched, squeaky, and adorkable, which I went with Sarah Wiedenhef and Jill Harris.
I think you must be a mind reader, because for Pokotaro, I had the same exact thought and the same exact predictions you did.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, but I also had Jeremy Inman in addition.
I could see that.
As for Himeralda, I wanted somebody who's also effeminate and or soft-spoken, so I had Matt Shipman and Dave Trosco.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be interested to hear that, but definitely not my first choice.
Yeah, and as for Lilac, you know, someone spunky, someone a little high-pitched, so I had Megan Shipman because part of Lilac kind of reminds me of Alba from New Game.
I could see it. The hair, too.
I also had Marissa Lenti and Jade Saxton because, you know, pretty much the last two I had because of gamers, and Jade Saxton likes cats. I think Marissa does too.
Okay, so let's be real. What voice actor at Funimation at this point doesn't like cats? Every time I go on their timelines, it's pictures of their cats. Here's my bundle of cats. I picked up this cat. I'm playing with this cat. It's adorable. Every one of them likes cats, which, to be fair, cats are great, but by God, it's like every time you look, it's like, oh my God, they're cats.
Yeah, I'm a dog person. So.
I love dogs, too. Animals are pure and enjoyable, and they are too good for us.
My cat
like
is great, except for the fact that she keeps knocking over my cups.
I still love the fact that you named it Chiaki. Mad respect.
Yes, my cat is named Chiaki Nanami.
Okay, moving on. Sneebs, did you have any predictions?
Yeah, I did. I thought John Swayze might have been able to fit in for Pokotaro. Seemed like a good fit. I also went with Damon Mills for Himeralda. And I've been missing a little Lucy Christian in my life, so I thought Lucy Christian might be a quick stand-in for Lilac for episode 4, I think?
Lilac's in a couple episodes at this point, but yeah.
I remember her mostly from about episode 4.
Her main episode where she gets a lot of screen time, as well as her IRL screen time, too, was episode 4.
Yeah, so... And Zenith has no predictions, right?
Zenith watched this for the first time in the dub.
Yeah, I don't have predictions for anything because I watched this for the first time in the dub. So I unfortunately did not have any predictions for this particular episode.
Don't worry, we got you covered, girl. Don't sweat it.
Yeah, so Pokotaro is voiced by Ben Phillips. Himeralda is voiced by Brandon McInnes. And Lilac is voiced by a relative newcomer. No, not the Lilac you know. It's Rachel Michelle Thompson.
Is it Rachel or Rochelle?
Rachel.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yes, for other roles, Ben Phillips, he doesn't have a lot of big name roles. He's Freed Selzen from High School DxD, Shigure Ninomiya from Makagura School Suite, and Diane Woodwonder from Overlord. He's usually either in the background or just doing subtitles. Brandon McInnes, on the other hand, he's Sonosuke Izuyoi from Danganronpa 3, Alan Lanier from Joker Game, Saman Goku from Nanbaka, Hideyori Toyotomi from Samurai Warriors, Keita Amino from Gamers, and Selen from Show by Rock. Now, Rachel, on the other hand, is a different story because she only has a handful of roles, including Satomi Shiomi from Keijo, Aoi from Hina Logic, Anastasia from Gosick, and a couple of minor roles in Urahara and the Ancient Magus Bride. So, what are your thoughts?
I think these are like all voice actors like I've heard in passing but aren't too familiar with yet. And I think all of them were fantastic. Pokotaro, we hear the least from him, but he sounds exactly like the kind of holly jolly friend in need that I would want from a character like this. So I think Ben does a great job getting that across. Himeralda, Brandon does a fantastic job getting across exactly what this character is, which is basically this sassy person who's very like effeminate and charming, but also is there for her friends, but also a bit of a geek. Also, I can mention something since we are at episode 4. Interesting little tidbit. Pokotaro and Himeralda are in fact married in the real world.
Yep.
And which on my rewatch was really interesting because in episode 1, they're sitting at a bar and he's basically like, I'm basically just at my office playing a game right now, to which Himeralda replies, maybe there's somebody at home waiting for you, you know? Which, that adds a lot of interesting context to that. Though that reminds me, Ben does get to actually impersonate Himeralda for like a minute or two, and I thought that was very good as well. I think Brandon really gets across this kind of sassy, spunky, but also huge, like, romantic in Himeralda. Like, the whole scene where they're fantasizing about his relationship issue, where they're fantasizing about Hayashi's relationship issues, and they're imagining these fantastical, like, shoujo, maybe even doujin, like, outcomes of, like, the younger man and the older woman, and it's like, oh, man, just imagine the places you could go. And it's really funny. I love the delivery Brandon has for Himeralda. As for Lilac, I have not heard Rachel a lot, but she's fantastic. God, she's like equally could rival like Sarah Wiedenheft in regards to that spastic, spunky, high-pitched, adorable little troll, and she plays the part perfectly. Or should I say perfectly, because kitty cat. She's a kitty, and she's also got elf ears. That's a little extra, but it is an MMO. What do you expect? She's fantastic, and I was really impressed by her most of all. I really want to hear her in more things, and I think her performance as Lilac was definitely a good gateway to lead to some more opportunities. I loved all three of them.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because I don't really know these voice actors too well, but I was surprised how well they fit. Pokitaru, like, I'm glad that they didn't go with a very, very deep or whatever voice for his character, because his character is a little bit on the larger side, but they made him sound homey, and they made him sound like fun. And so I really like that he was just kind of the guy you could talk to with your problems, and I like that. I like that Himeralda is very effeminate, and he's playing up that role, and he's loving every second. And I think this is one of the better roles in the show, where he's kind of trolling a lot of them and having the time of his life voicing this, and I really did enjoy that character. Lilac. This could have easily been an annoying Genki character or a character that was ditzy or whatever, but I really enjoyed her, both IRL and in-game. I enjoyed what they did with it. I think the best way I described the show, it's gamers done right, because they have a lot of these relationships intertwining with the real world, but there's a lot of really interesting real-world aspects to it, and seeing how they interact with each other, their relationships, is really brought out from these voice actors. And I think Lilac the most, she's a girl, a very young girl, who's just enjoys playing online, and she's very, very girly, but not overtly to the sense where it becomes annoying. And I like that her crush on one of the other characters is subtle and in not really too much the main focus of the episode, but like they do a lot of good stuff with her, and I think she did a good job with the voice acting.
I also like in general how like she's very spastic and crazy and kooky, but she also does get like serious and real when she needs to. Also, a little FYI, her IRL persona is played by Alexis Tipton.
Well, I was going to mention that in passing, but thank you very much.
No problem.
Alright, so, yeah, I mean, these three did a pretty good job. I mean, not one of them seemed out of place or anything, and yeah, it's like, they could easily, like typecast them, like you said, Zenith, like that could have been annoying, but I think she displayed the right amount of spunk for this character. Even though she was a little bit nosy at times, Ben, he manages to play up the big guy aspect without having to deal with that big guy voice, you know? Like, because that could have rubbed some people the wrong way. Kind of like a kiss him, not me kind of situation, if you think about it.
Well, that was in the sub and not the dub, but I see what you're getting at.
Yes. And as for Himalada, yeah. I see what they were going for with Brandon. It worked very well to the best of their advantage, and it's kind of like listening to him from gamers all over again, except in a proper show with a proper storyline and not spazzing out every 5 minutes.
What are you talking about? That entire sequence in episode 2 was just Brandon, like, losing his shit and spazzing the fuck out. Like, that's exactly what he's doing. What do you mean he's not spazzing out? That's exactly what he's doing.
Well, if he is, he's not spazzing out that much.
Okay, he's not screaming.
I liked him a lot better here, to be honest. Like, Gamers had its moments where, he was well voiced in that, but to be honest, episode 2 is kind of the peak of that show, and
it's a different show and a different beast completely, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I liked all 3 of them. Also, little thing I'll say right now, they are not the most developed people or the most developed characters. Like, they're not as interesting as our leads, but I completely believe that all of them can and are real people that would exist in an MMORPG.
Yeah, which is why I'm surprised you brought up that whole thing that the two of them are husband and wife. I thought that was a manga spoiler.
No, that's in the episode. They reveal it in episode 4 because he's playing her. No, that's fascinating to me. I love that dynamic, actually. Yes. And actually, they kind of foreshadow it in the OP as well when the two of them are hanging out. And like Himaralda, like egg attacks Poketara from behind, and sort of like they look at each other. They also both have like the closed Brock eyes as well, which I thought was kind of clever. It's there, and it's adorable. I love that. It's just a thing about them. It's not all they are, and they're not like over each other. Like, oh my god, I love my hubby, I love my wife. It's like, no, they're just players in the game. They hang out, and they are just also married. And it's just.
And I do like that they switch characters, and you can tell who they are because they have distinct enough personalities.
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, which is why I had a slight little nitpick with the ending, but that's another story. Sneebs, what are your thoughts? Because we ain't get to you, buddy.
I'm learning the power of self-restraint to contain my addictive tendencies. They all fit really well. I had no complaints. Minor characters, but they landed well. I'm impressed, guys. All of you. Good job.
So, long story short, minor characters, major impact. So, let's move on to another pair of characters. One is in real life, and the other is an avatar. I'm talking about Kazuomi Fujimoto and his avatar Kanbei.
Let's be honest, they have the same hair. Were you actually that surprised?
Yeah. I picked up on that from the moment they showed him in the store, because they didn't focus on him before, but when they showed him in the store, and, I'm just like, that's gotta be Kanbei.
And it was. Good call.
Yeah.
Kuma shock. Anyways, what about
that was some foreshadowing before episode 4 or 5 came out. But yeah, Kazuomi is pretty much a convenience store worker. But that's pretty much what he does during the day. When he's at night, he's Kanbei, the guild master.
So oh, sorry. Where are you going? Continue.
No, you continue, cause
Okay, I'm gonna say this character. This is a show that focuses more on adults or older people in the office and workforce, which is actually a really interesting angle, and I'm glad they explore that. But Kanbei himself is a much more like college-age, high school era kid. And this character I completely relate to. Not just because he's working part-time and doing cashier stuff, but because he is revealed to be the secret mediator between everyone's personal bullshit. He is the one that not only learns about Morioka as Hayashi, but is also aware that Lily is played by a guy. So when he's trying to help them out, they are whispering to him, asking him for advice, and he's just like, just be honest. Just say what you think they want to hear. I don't care. No, actually, it's not that he doesn't care. He cares so much, but he is the mediator between everybody, and he's the one that, he's a dork, but he also cares a lot, and he really wants to help everybody out and like keep things together. And I relate a lot to that because I've been in a lot of situations where I am the one hearing people's drama or taking one-on-one conversations and trying to help piece things together. And that's exactly what he does in episode 5. And I thought that was a hilarious scene, but it was also something that genuine and I resonated with. Really made me appreciate this character a lot more.
Well said.
I was going to say, yeah, they did I thought Robert McCallum for Fujimoto there, and then Rico Fajardo as Kanbei.
Interesting choice for Fujimoto. Definitely a little older than I think, but I see where you're getting at.
No, because he can still get in that voice range. You wouldn't think of it right away, but again, I had the suspicion about this project that this would be something some actors would be flexing on a little bit and just feeling out.
Also,
seeing if they can test their range.
I'll say this, though. That is pretty interesting. You mentioned Robert McCollum, since that's actually one of my picks for Kanbei. My other pick being Clifford Chapin. Because I was going for something much more like gruff and aggressive. And when I picked Cliff, I was also thinking back to... I was going to say Grimgar, but there... No, just Cliff. Cliff is a very aggressive, tough guy when he wants to be, and I think he could have pulled Kanbei off.
Yeah, it's funny. I also thought Cliff, because I figured, A, he would be somewhere in the show, which he is, but only in episode 1.
Oh yeah, he's the guy where it's like at the starting egg area where he's just like, where Hayashi keeps fucking up, and he's just like, rest in peace.
Yes. That, and I also thought back to Gamers, because it was more or less the same thing, except in Gamer's case, he was just being a troll. A huge troll, whereas Kanbei is only a little bit of a troll, but a lot more caring. And I also had Tatum, because I figured, like Sneebs said, it gives them an opportunity to flex.
Tatum as Kanbei or Tatum as Fujimoto?
Kanbei, because I made no predictions for Fujimoto because I didn't know who he was at the time.
Also kind of similar situation, though it totally makes sense in hindsight. Okay.
And of course, you're good, Zenith. So, that being said, Kazuomi is voiced by Anthony Bowling, and his avatar Kanbei is voiced by Rico Fajardo. And other roles for these two, Anthony Bowling is Takashi Shinjo in Chaos Child. He's Alciel in The Devil's a Part-Timer. Oito is This a Zombie? Manabu Demon Sakura from Ping Pong. And White Peak from Shimonetta. Rico Fajardo is also Haruto from 18F. Itona from Assassination Classroom. Yuri from Chain Chronicle. Kyosuke Munakata from Danganronpa 3. Dayun from The Heroic Legend of Arslan, Takaru from Princess Stride, Kai from Show by Rock, and I gotta say this every time I talk about him. He's happy fucking New Year Mitsuru Hitokoi from Nambaka.
Your favorite character from that show, and honestly,
I mean-
I don't blame you. Yeah, he's great in Nambaka.
I mean, it's almost happy fucking New Year now, so.
Hey!
Yes.
It's a month.
So, let's hear your opinions.
Okay, you want to take this then?
Yeah, I can take this.
I have mine.
I really liked. I think what I really liked about this was they managed to make both of these characters distinct, but at the same time, they have they managed to make them similar with their voices. And I mean, one is a cashier at a convenience store, and one is a guild master, and they have very different roles. But at the same time, when they have scenes where they're both speaking, they show them in character and they show them in real life, and they definitely still feel like the same person, even though they have slightly different voices. And I think a lot of that is due to their cadence. I do have to give props for that. But honestly, I like both of these voices. I especially like Kanbei, because Kanbei has this sort of commanding presence to him, and that's all really done through the voice alone. I especially love when Kanbei's just trolling
Lily?
Mori. No, trolling Mori.
Oh, like Mori, okay. Where he's like, "What's up, dude?"
Yes, when he first comes in and like they're sitting in the bush and he's like, "What's up, dude?" And I'm like, like he has such a fun time, but at the same time he's so respectful of everyone. I love the character, but I think the voice really brings it out.
See, that's not even like my favorite moment with Kanbei, like being a troll, where it's when he's talking to Lily, and it's just like, oh, it's like you gotta play up your girly persona a little more. Maybe they'll get annoyed. It's like, oh, I love prank and frills and little baby squirrels. It's like, oh my god, that's fucking amazing.
It's so great,
So
and I love when he's asking her like, oh, Lily, what would you wear on a date?
What would
it's
you
just
want
so...
to see a woman wearing? Like, try
It's
to...
just it.
Yeah, sorry.
It's yeah.
So good. It's just so it's so fun when he's playing up this, but also in real life, I think it does a great job of showing the human side of that character, and that's also brought up with Anthony Bowling. I think he does a great job of bringing the humanity and the mediator of this character, and it's such an interesting take on both aspects. So both of them did a fantastic job.
All right. I have more to say on Rico, but I think Anthony Bowling does a solid job as playing this sort of tired cashier employee man, but he also getting really passionate and excited when he has a genuine connection to Morioka when she's buying the points, and it's like they want to interact with her, and he's also a bit protective when he sees some guy just looking for her. Is like, is this supposed to be happening, or is he just hitting on her aggressively? But he's a good pal to both of them, and I really like that about Fujimoto as a character. And Kanbei of course sounds like a masculine badass, but also very genuine and concerning for his friends, and also a bit of a guy that'll fuck with you. And it's just, I adore that scene, like where he's just like, oh, I love pink and frills and little baby squirrels, and like that caught me off guard. I'm like, oh my god, that's hilarious. Like he went there, but Rico does a fantastic job. He's got so much snark. This character is a delight. Both Kanbei and Fujimoto, I enjoy the both of them.
Yeah, it's like it's two different sides of the same coin, because you got Kazuomi, who, I will admit, of course we all know Anthony Bowling has a bit of a nerdy voice, but it can be easily restrained at times, as proven here, but when he cares, he really does show it. And then when you see him as Kanbei, which is Rico Fajardo, it's like literally night and day, like, because Kanbei, is pretty much of a troll. Even when he is caring, sometimes, you know.
I mean,
sometimes.
If we're speaking in terms of fantasy, that is like a fantasy in and of itself, that you are just this sort of beat down worker, and you want to be this commanding badass, and that's exactly what you get from both his real life persona and from his avatar persona, and I think both voices match exactly like what you want those kinds of characters to sound like, and I think it's solid casting and performances on both parts.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing to hear Rico as that kind of character, because, you know, mostly he gets typecast for like a lot of emo characters and stuff. Although I do like the spunky characters every once in a while, as we've just proven about, 2 minutes ago?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, they did a very good job. Alright, Sneebs, what is your opinion?
I really enjoyed it. I thought that the both guys cast in that role played off the two sides of the same coin. You had Kazumi as the guy who's doing work a day, but tries to be a decent person, tries to do his job. I like the little touch in the writing of the show about he's thinking of a job, and that thinking of booming up in the career kind of left a nice little dramatic tension. And they filled that moment with just a nice touch of realism and pathos, for want of a better word, that really ticked. As for Kanbei, what can I say? He's the staunch leader guy who then completely and utterly goofs around the moment he gets half the chance. Winding up Miss Mori was just a delight, and I'm with Zen. That was just hilarious.
Kind of related. Not only just like the performance, but you kind of see that Kanbei isn't as serious as like his demeanor would let on, because you get that dramatic moment of, no, don't disband the guild. Like, oh, he cares for his friends. It's like, no, it'd be such a waste. This is a high level guild. Think how much time is wasted.
That's what my point was trying to come up, because, you know, he does look caring even if you want something in return, you know.
Another little funny sight gag is when they're all trying out the little gay like gifts and cosmetics they get from the loot boxes, and one of them is a weird vest. I like how he, like, just because it's funny, they're like, hey, they decided, let's have Kanbei try this on, and when he tries it on, it's just a complete and total, like, censor thing, and it's like, that's not making me think the show thinks he's censored. It's like, no, the game in general just censored the vest for being too lewd, and I think that was hilarious how he was just sort of posing there, just like not even like being like, whatever, like not like disgusted. He was just like, I might as well do this today, and that's what you do in an MMO. You just mess around, you trade stuff, you try stuff on, and you are with your pals, and I really got that sense of camaraderie and friendship from Kanbei, and especially from his last name is Fujimoto, right?
Yes.
Okay, from him, yeah. I think both of them did a great job.
Alright then, so we're good to move on then.
We are good to move on. Oh my god, are we about to talk about the best character in the show?
I think we are. That's questionable. Yes, we're talking about Homare Koiwa.
Koiwa is the best!
The Joker best friend of our male lead.
I love... Koiwa is such a shit. I love him.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Okay, so it's specifically not only that he's his best friend, he's also like his superior in the office space as well. He's a couple years older on him. He's basically straight up Sakurai's senpai, and Koiwai is simultaneously like the asshole best friend, but also a bit of a doting mother as well. It's kind of amazing, and he teases him so much about it too. Calls him princess, being like, "Don't worry, I got you." But he's also genuinely looking out for Sakurai, and I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'll talk more about his character when we discuss the actor and my thoughts, but I was actually genuinely surprised by this character and how much I liked him.
Yeah, it's funny you say Dota Mother because I really only see more of an asshole best friends, especially with certain aspects of the show.
Oh, no. I'm not saying he isn't an asshole best friend. He totally is. But here's the thing. Anybody who says that he doesn't care for Sakurai and is only just trying to get with Morioka, they are straight up wrong. They are actually wrong. Like, he probably is attracted and interested in Morioka. But here's the thing, he also is kind of trying to help him out with that too, being like, look, I think she's great, I think she's attractive. If you're not gonna, I will. And he's not trying to sabotage that relationship. He's straight up saying, look, I would not object to being in a relationship with her. We had a connection before. I genuinely think she's attractive. But I'm looking out for you right now. What are you going to do? The ball's in your court. And that's what I think his character comes down to. And I think that's really interesting. But he's also goddamn hilarious. Oh god, I'm going on so much about this character. We should get on to predictions.
Kind of funny you said balls in the court, considering what happens later on.
Wait, what?
When he gets into the game.
Okay, so let us make some predictions. Let's see, who do I have for... Oh, okay. Can I go first?
Yes.
In regards to predictions for this character, I figured somebody that was who sounded a little older, but was definitely very eccentric and definitely really good with playing comedic characters while also sounding a little older and more masculine. So with that, I picked Ian Sinclair and J. Michael Tatum to play Koiwai.
Those were my picks too, 100%.
Wait, did you also have Sinclair and Tatum?
Yeah, I was just jostling over the pair of them. I thought I could see either of them working, and I couldn't narrow it down to my one pick.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's good stuff.
All right, Jamal.
Yeah. I kind of was too focused on the little trolling aspect of him, and I kind of went with Cliff, Alejandro Saab, and Jeff Johnson because of Dragon Maid.
No, okay, I can totally see those characters working. I was just thinking in general, as those characters would work, I think they were trying to go for him as being an older figure, which is why I made the picks that I did. Though I could totally see all of those working too.
Yeah, though the real test is gonna be when they get to episode 8.
Not really. It's kind of the same Kanbei voice, but regardless,
it is the same common voice, cause, woo boy,
he's a character. He's a character. But
yeah,
who is the good employee able to task? Who has been assigned the work project that is Homare Koiwai?
GG, if you're listening to this, brace yourselves in 3, 2, 1. It's Ian Sinclair.
Ian Sinclair. What has Ian Sinclair done?
What hasn't he done?
Yes, Ian Sinclair, if you don't know who he is, what is wrong with you?
You probably know who he is.
Chat.
Just let's hear it out.
Yes. He's ran the Kaido and Bento, he's Sap in Blood Blockade Battlefront, he's Juzo Sakakura in Danganronpa 3, Hajime Sugoroku in Nanbaka, Favreau Leone in Rage of Bahamut, Dandy in Space Dandy, and Savid in Tales of Cesteria.
So, okay. I'm going first, straight up. Kawhi is amazing as a character, because he is genuinely chewing the scenery every time, but Ian Sinclair, straight up, god fucking damn it, Ian Sinclair is so goddamn perfect as Kawhi. I'm going to make a bold statement here. This is the funniest I've heard Ian Sinclair since Space Dandy. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm standing by that. Like, it's a different kind of humor, and he's going much more, like, high-pitched, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But, goddamn, his delivery and his performance is so spectacular. Every time he's, like, playing with, like, the chopstick or calling him Princess, being like, oh, I do say so, good son. It's like you hear Sinclair do the voice, and he's so... It's perfect. It's perfect. And I genuinely stand by it. Like, he is a character that isn't just trying to... He is the third angle in the triangle, sure. But I don't see this character as trying to do this with malice or trying to be like, oh, I'll get me some of that neat puss. Like, no, he is straight up. He cares for Morioka. Like, he had a connection with her when they were on the phone, and it was very personal. And he was sincere and kind to her as well. And she also felt that. Like, the chemistry she has with Koiwai is different than that of Sakurai. And it's interesting to see them interact together. But he cares about her. He cares about Sakurai. And he cares about the both of them. And honestly, he is like a best friend, and he probably is interested with her. But he is the goddamn best wingman, too. As we will talk about at a later date. Goddamn. Ian Sinclair, he is hamming it up. It's spectacular. I love it. I love Koiwai. God damn it. It's great.
God bless America. Yeah.
Yeah, Ian Sinclair is perfect. I'm still kind of thinking ahead, because for those of you that have seen the sub, or if you have not read the disclaimer,
Alright, I'm shutting off my ears right now.
Let's not talk about it since Zenith's only seen the first 5. Let's go with that.
Damn it.
I mean, you can say it, I'll just take off my headphones.
Regardless, it's okay. Yeah, whatever. Your call.
I'll just post it on screen, because this episode might be coming out in a few weeks. She should be caught up by then.
Okay.
Enjoy.
But trust me, it's an interesting development.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's an interesting set of developments. Let's just say that.
But speaking of Ian Sinclair, yes, you're right. He is perfect in this role, like absolutely perfect in this role, and it's great. Like, I love when he's trolling, when he's trolling the guy. I love how he interacts with Mori, and you know, you definitely see the genuine nature of his character. He definitely feels like he cares, but at the same time, he has fun. And he's a very laid-back person. He's very zen. He's very much zen, like me.
Yeah.
So
you got that right. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Nudge, nudge. Know what I mean?
I know you don't, but... Anyway, any other thoughts? So we good to move on.
Wait, I don't... Steve?
I'm good.
Oh, wait, okay.
No, I have nothing more to add other than it was a pitch-perfect role. He nailed it. Some of those later developments that you're talking about, I'm looking forward to them, because, oh, that'll be fun. But yeah, nothing but good. Good job, Mr. Sinclair. I salute.
Well,
In closing, Koiwai is best boy. Fuck you, fight me!
Alright, I spam the salute emote as we move on to the next objective on our raid.
Alrighty.
Yes. And of course, no raid is complete without a healer. someone behind the healing process, we have Yuta Sakurai and his avatar Lily.
Oh my god, I can't believe he's Lily, said literally nobody who watched the show.
I figured that out within the first time he appeared on screen because they kept cutting to him and they kept cutting to her. But they do a good job of at least
They do a
making
good job
it
trying to hide
subtle.
it a little bit. I'll give them
Yeah.
credit. They're
They're
do
subtle.
a good job, but it's straight up in the poster. It's straight up in the poster.
Yeah.
And that's by design, though. It's not trying to be, ooh, what's the big surprise? This is clearly forecast. The fun of the show is not the big shock of who this person is. The shock is watching these characters work it out and go through the warm, fuzzy feeling of people who we know are going to end up together and feel comfy and safety knowing.
Oh yeah,
gonna
no,
sort of discover this.
I
fact.
totally see that. Yeah,
it's wonderful.
The appeal of this show to me is the humanity of these characters interacting with real-life human emotions and problems, and that's what separates it from something like Gamers for me. It is a comedy of errors at times, but it's humane dealings with these problems that really elevates it.
It's also the difference between dumb hormonal high school kids and actual real-world adult people. It's definitely
Yes.
a refreshing
So
take on it.
let's save that for final thoughts to talk a little more about these characters.
Oh, right.
Yes, Yuta Sakurai is a 28-year-old office worker, currently soon to be department head of his office where Morioka used to work. I'll save that spoiler for another time. But pretty much he started playing MMOs and got into so much that he started playing online as a female named Lily, who is
Okay, so
Lily's of the healer class. Probably the most adorable character ever created.
oh, Lily is a precious Cinnabon, and I love her. And frankly, I love Sakurai too. Like, he's adorable too. So fucking, like, he just. I see what they try to go at the show is trying to make him look like the young upstart, like, employee office worker guy, but also trying to make him very attractive and pretty. And you know what? He is also very attractive and pretty. Fuck it. So, as for predictions,
Yes, let's get right into predictions.
for Lily, I had 3. I had in my mind Jade Saxton, Tia Ballard, and Felicia Angel. I wanted somebody who was definitely very good at a lot of comedic timing, but also sounded adorable and was really good at playing like this very interesting feminine character, but also really good at working like comedic timing and making like goofy moments with hanging out with her friends, and also realizing, oh god, I haven't slept, it's 5 a.m. Very relatable scene, by the way. As for Sakurai, I had in my mind somebody who was like sounded a little younger, but also could probably like play the part of a like caring, goofy, but also very like stern and insensitive office boy. And I had in my mind Josh Greeley and Eric Vale.
It's interesting. For me, for Yuta, I kind of had someone who could easily do soft-spoken but still sound adult. I had Jerry Jewell, Austin Tyndall, and Steven Sanders. Though Steven Sanders may be a little bit of a stretch, but I want to see all 3 of them flex the range a little bit.
Yeah.
As for Lily, I wanted to see someone who's easily a cinnamon roll, but can elevate that to a little bit of an adult status. So I had Bryn, I had Alexis Tipton, and I had Laura Woodhull.
Okay. Sneebs.
For the role of Hayashi.
We're not there
Lily.
yet.
Sorry, my wires are being crossed. In the role of Lily, I thought we'd get Rachel Thompson in that role. It seemed like she could fit on the upper end of that. If she boosted herself a little bit, she could get the high sweetness range and pull off the cuteness. And as for Yuta, I thought Michael J. Tatum.
All right. I can see it. I can totally see it as well.
A little bit less high energy, so we're not doing Isaac and Miria anytime soon, but he can play the older man while also having a touch of...
Tatum plays very attractive men with glasses often. I see where you would make that assumption.
Yeah.
He sounds like it.
But as for who we actually have, for Yuta Sakurai, we have Josh Greeley. And for Lily, we have Natalie Hoover. Other roles you've heard Josh Greeley in, he's Armin Arler in Attack on Titan. Femp from Blood Blockade Battlefront. Byakuya Togami from Danganronpa and Danganronpa 3. Shido Itsuka from Data Life. Yamada from Ping Pong. Ace for Puzzles and Dragons. And Yuri Katsuki from Yuri on Ice. Natalie Hoover, on the other hand, and this is interesting. Tell me what these roles have in common. Aisa Ahokainen from the Kiba Strip, Sonia Nevermind from the Danganronpa franchise, as well as, what is it, Monophony from Danganronpa V3?
Monophony from Danganronpa V3.
That's what I recognize the voice from.
I wanted it to hear Zenith's reaction. Yep.
I'm like, oh, it's Sonya Nevermind. No wonder I recognize it.
Yeah, she's also Lily from Handshakers, Fumiko from Love Life, Anya Helsing from Rio Rainbow Gate, Tsukino from Show by Rock, and Ain Felice from Tales of Sisteria.
You gave me a lot of roles. I'm guessing they all sound adorable and they're all like princessy.
Well, yeah, probably, but most of them were kind of video game related. So.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say they were blonde, which honestly I could see that working considering Moi Moi and Sonya. But okay, so who would like to go first with these two characters?
I guess I'll go first. Josh Greeley. It's Josh Greeley. He can do no wrong. He's pretty good this role. I didn't really expect him to be Yuta, but hey, you can't go wrong with Josh Greeley, you know? Natalie Hoover, on the other hand, it was very adorable. I mean, I liked it so much that if you listen to the Japanese sub, it's almost 1-1, almost as equally breathy, but she displays more sincerity than in the Japanese.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I see what you're getting at. I was just interesting statement. I'll say this. I learned she's really good at Japanese too, by the way. That was a fun little thing I got from one of Caitlin's Vanishing Line. What was it? What's it called? One of her videos in regards to behind-the-scenes stuff for Vanishing Line, where she got a bunch of different actors who could speak other languages to do a thing, and I heard Natalie Hoover's Japanese, and straight up, it made me think, holy shit, she really is Sonya Nevermind in real life. That's freaky.
It's funny because I remember on her Twitter one time she talked about being her own seiyuu at some point, because she actually does speak Japanese.
Well, that's funny to me. But anyways, do you have anything more to add? Because I'd like to go next.
I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay, so I look at Sakurai and he just looked like somebody that Josh would play. Very sincere and kind, but also a little like dorky, but very like handsome and cute as well. And I think he captures all of that when it comes to Sakurai. Hang on, let me find my notes. Okay, his reactions are totally genuine. I think Josh is spot on. He gets the chance to prove to me once again why he's one of my favorites at Funimation, and this is a good role where he really gets to show his stuff. He's a lovable dork, and he's got some fantastic reaction lines, but he also is kind of cool and kind of badass when he wants to be, but he's very sincere and genuine, and I think Josh is a perfect fit for the character Sakura, and I think he's just so good. I love him. Natalie Hoover as Lily. This was an interesting choice, but I'm very pleasantly surprised by her as well. She's like, I keep thinking back to Sonya, but it's straight up Sonya going full on Moe princess role for this, and it's great. She's like very cutesy and supportive, of course, but she also is very dorky and comedic, and I love the exchange between her when she's like, "Oh God, I have no confidence that I can get any sleep and wake up on time. I just have to stay up and just get up." And it's like, that's such a real feeling. It's like, no, if I go to bed now, I just won't wake up. She gets a lot of comedic moments as Lily, but she also gets a lot of very sincere, genuine reactions as Lily. She's precious. She's adorable. That is a smile to be protective, and I love that they are both canonically a goddamn gotcha whale. Like I find that hilarious. Like whether or not that's represented as you'd like, Zen. That is a thing that people who do play these kinds of games do. And since Sakurai does seem to be fairly well off and very into working, and this is like one of the only other things he does, he's just like, you know what? I want my girl to look cute. I'll spend as much as I want, which I don't know. I just find that amusing. I think they are both fantastic, and like Josh, I always knew like had confidence in him, but he continues to prove why I like him so much. And Natalie Hoover, this was a very interesting role for her to get a chance to shine, and I think it worked out really well. Good job.
I'm not as used to seeing Natalie Hoover and stuff. I don't remember her quite as well, so it's interesting to see her in this bit, as you say. Nails the cutesy, but has a broader range to deliver on some dramatic bits, on some sincerity or some doubtful parts. And
I'd say anxiety is a fair word, because like she is a little insecure and self-conscious about like everybody kind of nagging her as a healing party member, and also like because she is cute and adorable, that like some of the other girls are straight up like jealous of her, as like, you better not steal my man, you slut. And that's straight up what they're doing. And she's a little isolated in that regard. And as it's clear with Sakurai, he wants to connect with people, he wants to befriend people, and he saw something in Hayashi and Morioka that he really admired and saw something in him, and he wanted to connect to that.
Yeah, you see it in both roles. These, with the two leads and their avatars, they're both isolated in different ways, and to see them try and connect is one of the real joys of this show. And, Josh, good on you. You're kind and tender, and also a big old funny goof when you need you. Thank you kindly.
I think that Josh Greeley did a fantastic job in this role. It's it's a little bit different from his role in as Byakuya, but also it kind of has a lot of that same presence behind it. He definitely has this presence of a well-meaning person, and that confidence that Josh Greeley has really brings it across. It really shows that he is actually kind of a really cool guy in real life, and I think that's a good thing for the voice actor to show in the character. You know, it's this person who just loves MMO games. He's a really, really cool guy. You know, it's someone that you can believe that Morioka would actually look up to, and it's very believable. Josh Greeley brings that across, but I have to give special props because Natalie Hoover, Sonya Nevermind, is the standout role to me, because like I knew I recognized that voice from somewhere, but oh my god, like the fact that it is Sonya, it's similar yet different, but this is the breakout performance of the show to me. Like this is it's so cute, it's so perfect for the character. Lily is just such a cute character as it is, but like just honestly standout performance for me.
Good stuff. Also, before we go on, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to talk about this more in final thoughts, but I just want to mention this very briefly. I genuinely appreciate how this show doesn't shame or call people who play, like, other genders online, like, perverts or freaks or something like that. I genuinely appreciate and respect that it is not something that is shamed or seen as, like, gross or weird. It's like, it's just something people do, and it's an escapist fantasy. And I'm glad that the show actually approaches that with, like, genuine sincerity, realism, and tact, instead of going for the gross out gag like, oh, you play a dude or you play a chick, you're a freak. Like, ugh, thank you.
Yeah, the show really gets the feeling of what an actual healthy online community can be like. And, yeah, it's idealized. We don't see the shitlords on the server teabagging people and trying to be a-holes, but that's not what the show is about. It's a concentration of the real lived online life of quality and goodness. And I commend you creators of the show for doing such a good job.
We'll get more to that later. I just wanted to say that before I forgot. Okay,
then. So in all agreements, Josh, he's very good no matter what he does, and Lily, nobody does it like Hoover. Natalie Hoover,
Lily is precious, and her smile must be protected, and Sakurai is also precious, but god damn it, Zenith, you just made me realize he looks like Byakuya Togami, and I fucking hate you for making me realize that!
I know, but isn't that a perfect fit? Because he looks like him, but he actually has much more of a personality.
Not a dick.
Yes, but that's the difference. He's a more humane character. But he still has that presence of Byakuya.
He's also hotter than Byakuya. Fucking fight me.
That's debatable.
Fucking fight me! Okay, I'm done.
Okay, PvP hasn't been turned on, guys, so we'll have to go to the other server once we finished off this next bit.
I've said my piece on both of them. Their smiles need to be protected.
Yes, and speaking of needing to be protected, let's move on to our leads. We have the titular lead in question, Moriko Morioka, and her avatar Hayashi. Moriko Morioka is a 30-year-old lead who she chose the neat life.
She was fed up with her job. She genuinely couldn't take it enough. She was fed up with her
job, wanted to disconnect from reality, so she quit her job and just started playing MMOs constantly.
And that's what they do. That's what NEETs and Hikikomori do. And I'll say this. This show doesn't exactly, like, it doesn't demonize nor particularly romanticize the NEET life. Like, it just is her life, for better or for worse. And she decided, hey, you know what? I want to make a hot guy character, and then she did.
Yes.
The one thing I wonder is how she supports her habit. I mean, I know that's
the question that hasn't been answered or clarified. Is like, did she have, like, a lot saved up? Does she have, like, a good financial family? Does she get a lot of support? Because that's a nice-ass, like, computer and monitor setup that she gets.
Did she have a good severance package, or did she do something that she gets royalties from? I'm kind of wondering.
It must have been, like, a really well-off... The only thing I can think, it must have been a really, like, high-up, well-off position, but it made her fucking miserable, because, like, she was just alone in the office when she was talking on the phone with Koiwai, and she was just so tired it brought nearly to tears. And that's why I genuinely was okay with Koiwai as part of that triangle, because the genuine connection and the realistic thing about how, like, he was a shoulder for her to lean on, like, when she was working in that lifestyle, and I thought that was interesting. She's an interesting character. I love how she is just an older female woman character that just is also into games, and it doesn't, like, also, like, when she is, like, NEET, they don't go out of her way to make her hot. She is just this kind of, like, her hair's long and disheveled. She's got the crazy eyebrows, which I think has been dubbed the Tribrow, which I kind of love that name. She's got like the little mole, but she's got the baggy pants and the shitty clothes, and she's always getting beer. And the moments when she looks in her fridge and there's nothing there in the book. She is a genuine person that I could see in this position. And I think she's a fantastic character. And
I really have to commend this show for showing a realistic portrayal of a person like this. And I think she is attractive in her own way. I like long hair on women. I like her hair. I think I was kind of upset when she cuts it.
I'm not saying she's ugly. I'm just saying they don't make her conventionally attractive even when she's on her downtime. And she does clean up very nicely.
Yes, and they did a good job of showing that and showing the dark rings under her eyes, which I do get at times. So I mean, I understand that it's when you have that MMO life, it's not easy, and I know that firsthand.
Well, no, it makes sense. This show is someone dealing likely with an anxiety or depressive problem, and it's not trying to create... This is not something that is catered towards men. I would bet you dollars to donuts this was either written for a shoujo magazine. It was definitely written by a woman. She's not objectifying.
It's absolutely a female writer. I can tell. It just feels like it.
Yeah.
I've looked her up online. She is a lady, and this is the lived experience of someone who is a woman in modern working Japan and deals with all of the BS that would be expected of that.
Absolutely.
They don't really say it aloud 100%, but there seem to be just a lot of the different pressures that come from working in an office culture like Japan. As a woman, yep, you too would have your mental breakdown.
By the way, fun fact before we move on to predictions, you actually see Morioka in the ending, like in the office space when like Sakurai's on the computer. You actually see her like when she was working there walk by very quickly. I thought that was a neat little touch.
So before we move on to predictions, we also have to talk about Avatar Hayashi, pretty much an extension of Morioka, to the point that
he's hot, he's blue, he's kind of a dork, but he's kind of amazing, and he has a genuine connection with Lily, and he spams the cry emoji, which I thought was amazing.
Yes.
That whole scene was...
Which is funny when we get into the actor, but let's start with predictions first.
All right. In regards to Hayashi,
can I go last?
I had 2 predictions since I wanted somebody who sounded a little younger, but also kind of hot, but also a bit badass and manly, and a little bit dorky too. So I had Alejandro Saab and Aaron Dismuke. In regards to Morioka, I was thinking somebody like who was a little more veteran actress. I was thinking either Leah Clark or Colleen Klinkenbeard, since I've heard both of them play mature working class worker ladies, as well as Michelle Rojas, because I was thinking absolutely Ko Yagami would be a very interesting person to play for Morioka.
For Hayashi, I also went with somewhat dorky, but I also wanted to maybe see them flex their range a little too. So I had Cliff because, goddamn it, I figured he'd be in here somewhere, just not in the first episode. I had Josh Greeley and I had Matt Shipman. As for Morioka, this is kind of interesting because 2 out of 3 of my predictions, I figured it could be age appropriate. I want to see someone play something easily mature, but I went with Alex Moore and Kristen McGuire.
I could see that.
But as for my third pick, it's kind of out of the box because I want to see them flex their range. And once again, if you know me, I'm going to pick Bryn April.
Really?
Well, see, because here's the thing. I mean, a lot of times we know her to be this kind of as Moe characters, but if you've heard her in commentaries or anything, you know she actually sounds a bit older than she actually is.
Okay. I guess I was just surprised because I know Bryn is still fairly young, so I thought that was an interesting choice. Okay.
I mean, we have some younger voice actors who can easily play older characters.
That's true. I still can't believe the black magic that is Damon Mills as the Russian coach. But you're right. You're fair point.
Sadly, she's playing another game where she has to kind of act mature.
What?
It's for another episode. You'll see what I mean later.
Okay. We'll get back to that later. Anyways, Sneebs.
Oh, building off the previous one, I thought we'd be getting the inverse of my guess. Michael J. Tatum as Hayashi and Rachel Thompson as Moriko. I thought it would be a fun little exercise in this to swap the actors I'd guessed previously for Yuta and Lily. It seemed like it would be a different challenge for the actors to play with. Plus, it would be just fun for us viewers to pick up on.
Okay then, but for who's actually playing these roles, and this is kind of a surprise to me. Let's start backwards. For Hayashi, we have Aaron Dismuke. And for Moriko Morioka, we have Terry Doty.
What have they done before?
In Terry Doty's case, she's also Kirara Hazuma from Assassination Classroom, Kyoko Machi from Interviews with Monster Girls, Kei Higuchi from Keijo. I guess she puts the K in Keijo. She's the Blue Ranger from Level E, Pig Macaron from Show by Rock, and Kamika Todoroki from Corpse Princess.
And also, quite literally, every single young boy character in everything ever. Goddamn, seriously, take a look at her resume.
Seriously, man, if you ever want to cry, just watch Corpse Princess. Speaking of which, you can see Speak Spam the Cry emote and Dismuke as the lead in Corpse Princess is Oi Kagami. Wow, that was a mouthful. He's also Leonardo Watch from Blood Blockade Battlefront, Fuyuhiko Kusuryu from Danganronpa 3, Yo Takumi from Deadman Wonderland. He's the original Alphonse from Fullmetal Alchemist, Upa from Nanbaka, and Peiko from Ping Pong. So, let's begin.
Alright, okay. So, Aaron Dismuke as Hayashi. Spot on, like I predicted, but he gets a lot of material to go very comedic. He's got a lot of great reactions, hilarious moments and outbursts. The cry emote is one thing. I adored the scene where they're imagining giving the gift to Lily and it goes full on shoujo. Just the genuine outbursts and failure of trying to get the loot boxes, and just the chemistry he's got with all the characters. And it sounds like he's also, like, at times he is trying to play more badass and fantastical, but also kind of gets a little bit of Morioka's, like, dorky vulnerability as well. Mm-hmm. He's pretty good. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot I really have to say. I think Aaron Dismuke's really good. The one I really want to talk about is Terry Doty.
I know,
Terry
right?
Doty, quite often in a lot of roles you mentioned, she is played teenagers or younger boys. She's played, like, she does teenage girls, like, she does that pretty good. I liked her as, like, Kyoko, but that was one that definitely took me a little bit of getting used to as well. She's got a very deeper range. That's why she plays a lot of, like, younger boys going through, like, before they hit puberty and all that, and she does that really well. But this is an interesting role. This is her straight up getting to play a grown-up, like, older woman, kind of a little tired, kind of a little lazy, but also very, like, she's very dorky, very fun, and very interesting. But she completely gets this character. She completely nails Morioka. It's genuinely impressive show of talent, given like some of the other things she usually gets to play and I usually get to hear her. And I honestly think that this was an interesting choice and probably one of the best ones for this dub. I think she's one of the strongest performances in the show, because not only is her emotional vulnerability very present, but she has hilarious comedic timing. The reactions and like what her abruptly like crying when she's spamming the emoji, her outbursts, her outrageous, over dramatized moments. But she's great. She's fantastic. She also gets the realness that is Moriko's struggle and her insecurity and also her doubt. And all of it, her fear, her anxiety, her just outrageous dorkiness, and is there. Also, fun little fact, every time she gets insecure or nervous, she starts cleaning with the little roller thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a consistent thing, and I thought that's interesting. But, goddamn, I was pleasantly surprised, and I will straight up say that I think Terry Doty is the strongest and most surprising performance out of this dubcast.
Hear, hear. Yeah, Aaron, as always, is an amazing guy who can do amazing things. We loved you since Full Metal Alchemist, bro. And, yeah, here too, he's got the wide range, and he just rides those comedic bits. He loves them so. But the switch over to Terry Doty, she is phenomenal. Really hits the emotional beats, as we say. Super vulnerable, super nuanced in her performance. I'm impressed. Good job, Terry. Thank you. This has been a real treat to see. You made me relate to a fictional character in ways I did not think I would be doing so all year. Good job.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Aaron Desmuke did a great job and is clearly like a very natural voice, but Terry Doty is the clear standout here. She just brings across this exhaustion, but at the same time, this cute nature to her. Like when she's spinning with the stuffed animal, and when she's just like, why am I so happy? Why is my heart beating so fast? And that's what really makes me squee, because she is so relatable, and Terry, it's all in Terry's performance here. It's all in her delivery, her cadence, the tiredness of the character, but also at the same time, her excited nature, her excitable nature in general. And, she's so cute, but at the same time, realistic, and it just, Terry, I don't know how you do it, but you did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and this Mika Hayashi, I thought was pretty good. Like, well, then it's either stocky little jagoff or, spastic little whatever.
Snarky little jagoff or spastic whatever is a very interesting range of characters.
Yeah, in this case, it's a little bit of the latter, but it's also just nice guy Aaron, and he really manages to play as an extension of Morioka, to which I was actually kind of surprised there was Terry Doty, because, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, I believe this is Terry Doty's first lead role.
Holy shit, I think you're actually right, yeah.
Yes, it is.
You've earned it, Terry.
Like I said, she's got a very interesting voice, and it's very particular, because in regards to like leading ladies or female ladies, they're usually very much more younger sounding, much more like feminine and or cutesy, and for Morioka, she is straight up a older, kind of beaten down and tired, like, older woman. And it's like a particular thing about Terry's voice where it's like you can't really get a lot of those like high pitched like voices or that kind of those very younger high pitched characters. But that's why I'm so impressed with her as Moriko Morioka, because it straight up is. It feels like a role she was made to play. Just the way she delivers these lines, she delivers this realness to her as a character. Because I just love it. I was so surprised. Like I like Terry Doty as an actress, but like I said, she has a very particular voice that isn't always something that resonates with some of these more anime-esque female characters, like Lily, for example. I could not see Terry doing a character like Lily really good or really well. I think that's why it's hard to get a lot of those older ladies, which aren't always at the forefront of anime. That's why I think it's so great that Morioka is who she is.
That's fair.
Yeah,
in my casting. Sorry,
you go ahead.
In my defense for casting her, I thought it was more of a neat little inverse flip thing than, as you say, a attempt to copy the Japanese version. I don't think that in my casting of Rachel that it would have had the same effect, but that's just my own doing here.
And I adore her Japanese voice actor too, but I really was surprised and impressed by Terry Doty.
Yeah, because with Terry Doty in this role, it's like, how do I explain this? Pretty much, because here's the thing, when I know Terry Doty, normally it's from the anime show, I usually think of her as like a bit of a badass, so when she flips that switch, it's easy for her to just kind of invert herself, Like, she manages to play up the vulnerabilities very well, to the point that, if you remember episode 1, she stopped thinking to herself that she was a girl, because she said, and I quote,
I'll never lose my virginity as a dude or something like that. It's like, It's like, I'm a girl, I'll
never lose my virginity as a man. Wait.
Yeah, she just pretty much threw her inhibitions out the window.
It's like she got into this character and she's like, damn it, I'm a girl. I need to understand how girls think. Why can't I girl?
Exactly.
I get it. But
I love that part of the performance. I think that's what really sold me on that character in general. Like, I liked it, but when I first heard that line and that whole interaction and stuff like that, I'm just like, it's so real, it's so human, it's so funny, but I can relate to this in a couple different levels. So, yeah.
It's like she's a bit of a wallflower. Like, she can't try to go, but when she does, it's like she just becomes a blossoming butterfly from a caterpillar. Let's put it that way. I still remember that one scene where she's just hugging her body pillow and just.
It's like she's happy and it's a cute little thing, and she's having this kind of emotional conflict where it's like, I don't know if this is a romantic feeling or if this is just genuine joy of having somebody who understands and is compassionate, and it's very real, and I really like it.
Yes.
Thank you, Terry Doty.
It's like
you've given us the expression of the anxiety brewing in all our millennial hearts.
Yeah, it's like she requested to a little girl, and then she managed to play up that reality a bit because in the Japanese society, when you're overworked, it's easy to lose reality. So
it's like, why do you think there's so much anime? Why do you think there is so much anime or so much anime geared toward those otaku types? Because it is the escapist fantasy from those who can't deal with the isolated working life that is what they are trapped in. And that's what Morioka as a character was afraid of, and why she wanted to get out, and why so many others want to get out, because they feel there is no other option. There is no other way to get up or get a better job or a different job. There's just, you either stay a cog in the system or you get out and shut yourself in.
And one of the better scenes in the show for that is where she sees all the faceless corporate zombies going into the castle of her old MMO, and it's a very subtle scene. It's her sleep. Well, it's basically when she's knocked out and she's dreaming this, but it really symbolizes everything she feels about the entire situation, and it's brilliant.
It was really good.
Late capitalism, boys and girls.
Simply put, Terry Doty I don't always get to see Terry Doty shine like this, but straight up, she is Moriko Morioka, and that is as fucking high a praise as I can say for an actor when I say, you are not just playing this character, you are this character.
Amen. And with that being said, let's move into final thoughts.
I'm going last. You know how this game works.
In that case, I will let Sneebs go first because he wants to.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I love this show. It's a super sweet little love story that gets what it's like to live in the internet age. Presentation is bright and cheerful, good color palette. As you mentioned, that subtle bit with the character designs to show the different MMO and real worlds. And really speaks to what it's like to live in the internet age and how virtual relationships are just as real as any other. And I commend everyone on the staff of this show to bring it together. Writing, directing, the whole shebang. This dub is excellent, probably one of the best I've heard all year, and definitely something you should be talking about. You dub listeners out there, pick this up. It's amazing.
Yeah, I guess I'll go next. So with this show, I really enjoyed a lot of the aspects of it. It's kind of grounded in realism, whereas other shows try to do that, but it kind of fails. What really makes it work is, and Crunchyroll kind of pointed this out, is how it pieces its initial misunderstandings into something more realistic.
Was that Nick Creamer's article? Because he's been writing a lot about it and doing some really on-point stuff with it.
Yes, it was. Pretty much, the whole point of it is you want to focus on characters you want to get together. There's there has to be some semblance to the story. Otherwise, it just kind of falls flat. And that's where MMO really kind of shines. Because, it's not just about gaming. It's about what happens on and off the MMO world, And I really like its approach to it. I really like the seinen aspect of it, because this is not just about high schoolers or anything of the sort. Not the usual sort. It's pretty much geared to pretty much anybody in the workplace that uses gaming as a stress reliever. And believe me, I know, because I kind of am one.
I think we all are to some extent. Or
yeah, but I play an MMO that has RPGs, is an RPG. Point still stands though. I really like the show so much. And as for the dub is very solid. It's very spectacular. I think Cliff knew where to hit all the right notes with his direction. I think Jessica knew where to hit all the right notes with the wording. And pretty much the cast was kind of on point, even if some of them aren't as fleshed out as they are.
But that's not really the fault of the dub.
No, that's the fault of the show. Which is why I'm also going to be sad, because I found out it's 10 episodes.
Technically 11, because there is an OVA on the DVD and Blu-ray, which means the odds of us getting it and getting it dubbed are actually higher. But make sure to go over to Funimation and be like, hey guys, go pick up that fucking OVA, please and thank you.
Yes, but right now only time will tell. We can't really say anything further than that.
True.
But overall, give this show the love and respect it deserves. I know there's some bigger shows out there right now, but don't let these kind of shows be overlooked either.
This is gem of the season.
Yes, the hidden gem of the season. Well, there are also some other hidden gems too, but this is the big one. Let's put it that way. It's so big. How you even miss it?
It's definitely been growing since it started, and I'm very happy to see it picking up steam, and it's only getting more people to watch it and check it out, and I'm so happy for that. Zen?
It's really a shame that this is only going to be 10 episodes, because I've watched 5 episodes now. There are 5 episodes of the dub out at this time. And there's going to be another tomorrow, but I have fallen in love with this show. It represents a lot of the things that I love about certain anime and how they can tackle deep emotional issues, deep things that really need to be talked about, really need to be said, but still has this lighthearted, fluffy center to it, and it makes you happy. It fills me up with such joy watching it, and I think this is something that I wholeheartedly say that I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to review this, and I'm definitely going to talk about it, but you need to go out and buy this yourself, or at least watch it on Funimation.com, because this is one of the shows that you cannot afford to miss. This is one of the top shows this season, top dubs this season, and while I'm not watching all of the simulcasts, honestly, like, if I did that, I would lose my mind. Out of the ones that I'm watching right now, this is worth your time. And out of the entire year, I think this is one of my top. It is seriously that good of a show. It tugs at your heartstrings. It has realistic human characters. It is genuinely funny and welcoming and brimming with cuteness. And I relate to it so much on a few different levels. But I think you will too, because there's something in it for everyone, and even though some of the characters don't get as much development as I would like, they don't really need to, because as of right now, they're still human, and they still have great character, and the people that we do focus on are great as well, and it just, I want more. I'm sad it's 10 episodes. I kind of want more, but if you guys are watching this, the creators of the show, I don't know why you would, but if you're watching this, please make more. Please make more.
Season 2.
All right. Okay. So, straight up, this is an important show to me in that it's not even just because we've seen the anime based about video games. We've seen the animes online video games. We see the trapped in the video games things. But this is not even about the video game. I don't know what the fuck the mechanics of Fruit de Mer are. I don't really know how many of the dorky, doofy, Pikachu-esque Kenshiro Fist of the North Star bosses there really are. That's irrelevant. Here's what the show is. This show is about the human connection that happens online, that happens to people to meet online, and the bond that people share. It doesn't even matter if it was an MMO that you've had this experience with. It could be something like a video game online. I've had this because I met people playing on Xbox Live through Halo 3. This is like if you've ever met somebody online on a forum who you've bonded with. What do you think we've done? We at Dub Talk are here because we just randomly found each other through circumstances and we came together. That's why we're so close now, because it is something about the internet and the friendship and bonds you have on the internet. And this is a show that encapsulates that bond, that connection, that friendship. I think there's a line that's said in episode 8 by Sakurai where it's like, I wanted to be alone, but being alone was lonely. So, and when I play an MMO, I could be alone, but never lonely. And in that single moment, it made me realize this show understood the importance and the connection that people who meet and befriend and play and are part of the internet and are part of the gaming world. That proves that the person who's making the show understands that completely. As for the show itself, the show is so goddamn precious, adorable, cute, funny, but it also is genuinely real and touching and heartwarming and upsetting. And you feel the struggles of these characters, who are older, and like they're not just dumb teenagers. They actually are working people. There's some misunderstanding and awkwardness, but they are adults and people. And sometimes they actually do straight up just talk about it. Or at least they have a really good wingman. I love Morioka as a lead. I love her relationship with Sakurai. I even love her chemistry with Koiwai, and I love her connection with her friends online. I adore that. It's so cute. It's so bright. It's so heartwarming. It's so touching, and I love it so. The dub is spectacular. I love these performances. A lot of known actors who are giving their all, while also more unknown actors or less frequent actors who are actually getting to show their stuff. And some that are really getting to shine and break out roles. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm so happy with this show. I'm so happy that this surprising little show that everybody's like, oh, nobody's going to give a shit about this, became one of the standouts of the season. And it means so much. Go watch this show. Go watch it dub. Or if you're somehow a sub-elitist who are like, why are you watching a dub talk video if you're like, oh man, dubs are stupid. I'm amazed you made it this long if that's the case. But watch it on Crunchyroll, watch it on Funimation. Tell people to watch this. This is a fantastic show. It's so good.
Yes, it is.
Amen
it's very
to that.
Fantastic. Yes.
Though if you're not a fan of dubs, then why are you listening to Dub Talk?
I was going to say that. But you know what? If you are, thanks for giving us the views anyway, you son of a bitch. All right.
Yes. If you are a fan of dubs and you're interested in seeing the dub for recovery of an MMO Junkie, episodes are currently available on the Funimation Now service, which is up to episode 5 at the time of recording. The first 2 episodes are available for free, but the rest are behind the subscriber paywall, which, if you're interested in subscribing, they do have a 14-day free trial you can use to watch their simuldubs and home video releases. But fair warning, if you don't like the service or don't want to continue after the 14 days are up, make sure to cancel as soon as possible since a credit card is required and they will stop pulling money from your account. As for the show itself, the sub can be found on Crunchyroll as part of the Funnyroll partnership. You can watch with or without a subscription, but just know without a subscription there will be ads. The latest episode will be a week behind the subscriber paywall.
But the show is worth your money. I actually renewed my Funimation Now subscription because of this show. I was going to do it eventually anyway, but I wanted to keep watching. I had to keep watching, and it was worth it.
Yes, there's also a third subscription service called Verve, where if you opt for the combo pack for $10 a month, you get access to Funimation, Crunchyroll, Cartoon Hangover, and more, as well as original programming. Be warned, though.
Sponsorship not brought to you by Verve. But by the way, Verve, give us the Canadian service, please.
Also, give us money to promote you because we like money.
Hashtag free promotion. Hashtag,
Okay, what were you gonna say, Jamal?
Also, give us subtitles for dubs because there are none when you're watching anime. But I know you guys are aware you're currently working on a fix for it.
It's like certain shows where it's like they're speaking foreign languages in the dub, like Drifters, Ping Pong, or Devil's Part-Timer, just to name a couple. But anyways, just a heads up for those kinds of shows, you're watching them dubbed on Verb. Anyways.
Yes. So, if you're interested in seeing any of us and the crazy shit we get up to online, go ahead and plug yourselves.
My name is Andrew, otherwise known as Classy Spartan, otherwise known as @MangaMan9000 over on Twitter. You can see me regularly doing stuff for the Dub Talk podcast, as well as I also lurk on the Funimation forums, as well as help moderate the Funimation Discord channel.
You can find me online at Uncle Azrael, Mr. Sneebs, Occult PI, tweeting to you live from the far, far reaches of the Canadian North. Among my other commitments, I make fun of people on the internet. On to you.
I am at Zenith Will Rule on Twitter. I am also on Facebook and at Zenith Will Rule, facebook.com/Zenith Will Rule, and I have my fan page as well. I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/Zenith Will Review, where I do a whole bunch of different reviews in podcasts and stuff like that. I'm currently working on getting the next year of anime reviews set. Currently, I have Food Wars all prepped and ready for final editing. Assassination Classroom is my next project, And then I have Danganronpa the animation scheduled for the coming year, Blood Blockade Battlefront. Lots of anime coming in the future.
Simply put,
I
expect
also
more anime content.
expect a lot more anime and a lot more games and a lot more films. On my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/zengaming, where I look up Zen Plays. Zen Plays Danganronpa. I do Let's Plays and voice act, and have a lot of fun.
And as for me, I'm an assistant editor for the channel. I can be found on my other channel, Jamstar1. I do have a blog that's offline at the moment. I can also be found on Twitter at Jamstar529. As for the podcast itself, we can be found here on YouTube under the name Dub Talk Podcast. We can also be found on Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter by the same name. So I think that's pretty much it for us, and our recommendation to you is a recommendation of The Wonderful Virtual Life. Please give this show your love and respect.
By the way, complete tangent. This is one of the rare times where it's straight up like the localized title is kind of false, and that they have an actual English title that I think actually describes the show better. Because Recovery of an MMO Junkie is like a Welcome to the NHK style title where it's like she has a problem or this is something that's bad for her. Like, it's a positive force in her life. Like, you could argue that, like, she is living a shelter-neat life, but it's clearly something that helps her. And it's something that's important to her and all of them to be part of this virtual life. This recommendation of this wonderful virtual life, as I think the title in the OP is called. By the way, the OP is really good. And the ED. They're both fantastic songs. Anyways, that's my little tangent. This is a good-ass show. I like it.
Very good. So, from all of us here at Dub Talk, we wish you a good night. And Otaku on.
So we're signing off. Hopefully.
Well, we're signing off. If you excuse me, I'm going to sign on to my Xbox right now.
We're signing on.
And I need to actually play some games.
To our alternate account. I feel like playing some Vigimo games right now. Maybe with my headset turned on for once. Just because I can probably meet some wonderful, truly amazing friends.
Good night, everybody.
Or they'll tell me to fuck off and fuck my mother. You know, it's gaming. Good night.
It's 8 o'clock!